My girlfriend's parents confronted me, and I'm unsure if I want to tell her.
You're in a pinch, buddy.
I have, male 25, been with my girlfriend, we'll call her Sally, 21 female, for around 6 months, and things have been going great. She is extremely sweet and gentle, absolutely adorable, and just the most thoughtful and caring person I have ever met. By the way, this comes from throwaway ashush. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Carly.
I'm Riley.
I'm Keon.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we would do, so let us know what you would do in the comments. And OP says, when we first started getting to know each other, I found out that she was quite innocent, in the sense that she doesn't understand most innuendos and has a hard time getting those kinds of jokes. She also doesn't smoke, drink, or have tattoos. She has never gone to a bar or a party and has never gotten in trouble in school or anywhere. At first, I thought nothing much of it, but I did find it interesting that she liked me in the first place, considering that I drank, have a few piercings and tattoos, just the opposite of her really. Everything had been going great until I met her parents a few weeks ago. Sally asked me if I wanted to meet them and agreed. I was excited to meet them because I figured that if my girlfriend was such a sweet person, then her parents must be like her too, since they raised her. Well, I was wrong, because her parents are nothing like her.
Oh, lovely.
At least not when she isn't looking. When I first met them, they were really nice to me and were asking me a few questions about myself, but they switched up immediately after dinner when they asked me if I could talk with them in private. They weren't so nice anymore and told me straight to my face that they didn't like me and they wanted me to leave their daughter alone. I was so confused, and when I asked them, they said I wasn't a good influence judging from my appearance. Like I said before, I have a few tattoos and piercings, but it's only a few ear piercings on both ears, one tattoo around my neck, one on my right arm, and one on my shoulder, but they couldn't see that one. I told them that I treat their daughter well and that what I did with my body was for myself and had nothing to do with my influence on their daughter. But they just interrogated me with a bunch of questions like a rice purity test, and it was so overwhelming. They spent a few minutes just berating me on my life choices and that they want me to stay away from my girlfriend. I told them I wasn't going to do that and asked if there was something I could at least do to prove them that I had no ill intentions, but they just kept berating me. After a while, it got awkward and all three of us just got quiet. And I kid you not, her parents go back inside to where my girlfriend was waiting and start acting sweet again. I just stayed quiet throughout the rest of the night because it felt so awkward.
Nice.
Sally noticed and she asked me if I was all right and got really worried, but I just told her I was tired. Now I can't stop debating whether or not I should tell Sally about what her parents said to me. I feel terrible keeping this from her, and a part of me wants to tell her, but another part of me thinks it's best to stay quiet and keep the peace and just try to make her parents like me over time. We have an update.
They're breaking up.
You think?
They're done.
What do you think, Keon?
It's the thing of, well, if they're never going to approve of me, maybe that's who they are. And I don't want to go up on that, fight uphill for that.
Mm-hmm.
But if she's worth it, I mean, at the end of the day, I think you got to tell her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Question, Keon.
Yeah.
If you saw
Riley
Carly's
answer.
parents
Yes.
like twice a week
Mm-hmm.
and they said they don't like you, you're still dating Carly.
Great. Yeah. I'm like, 'cause I love Carly. They don't have to like me. That
Yeah?
sucks.
But,
But then if
like
it affects
Carly loves her parents, and even though they don't like you,
then
you're
that's
still like, we're going to hang out together.
then that is Carly's choice. It's not my choice. It's not their choice. It is her choice.
See, if that was me in that scenario with Angie, I don't know if I could do it.
It does suck. It
Yeah,
it
I
does
think
suck.
it's how big family is person to person, too.
Yeah.
Like, family is very big for you.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how big it is for Kia.
Like
It
don't-
is
yeah,
big,
it was-
but it's
it was the
big
same
in a
thing-
different way.
It was the same
Yeah.
thing for me. If my parents didn't approve of who I was dating, I was like, okay, maybe you have your rights, like you know
Yeah.
who I am, but that's for me, and that's who I want to be with. At the end of the day, I can make my own choices. If you don't like it, sucks to suck.
Yeah.
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 And then
Keon's
again,
parents are hard to tell if they like people or not.
Yeah.
After I posted and read the comments, I decided to tell Sally when she came over the day after I made my original post. When she arrived, I asked her if I could talk to her about something important, and she agreed. I then told her about what happened when her parents pulled me aside to talk. Some of the comments told me to lay it on her gently, so I did that. And I made sure to tell her I didn't hate her parents and knew they were probably just trying to protect her. She looked sad and guilty the whole time I told her the story and all the other stuff they'd told me. She looked really confused and disappointed, and she said she never thought they would be like that because they've always been nice to her and the friends she's brought home. I told her that it might be different because I'm her boyfriend, not her friend. We talked for a few more hours about it, and she kept apologizing for her parents' behavior and the things they said, to which I kept telling her that it was all right and that it wasn't her fault. She also told me that her parents might be acting this way because of her older half-sister that started dating this guy a few years back, and he ended up being a really bad influence on her sister. She didn't go into too much detail, but I knew from what she told me that it was really bad and messy. Now I can kind of see where her parents were coming from that night. Still doesn't fully excuse their behavior, though. By the way, if you guys want to be on your best behavior, go listen to more episodes with stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, wherever you get your podcasts. Search up OK Storytime.
Boom, we're here.
There's just a little bit left. Final thoughts.
They're gonna, I don't know. This doesn't seem like it's gonna go very long.
I think they're going to be fine for at least a while. I don't think we're going to get a breakup in this
They're not gonna
story.
break up because of his parents.
Yeah.
Well,
If she's living with him, that's gonna be a tough one.
well, here's the thing. She also needs to confront her parents about it and be like, hey, this is the guy I'm dating. Again, if you don't like it,
Yeah.
you don't like it, but
Yeah.
that's my choice. I'm an adult.
And
I'm-
two,
I'm not my sister.
if parents are pulling up saying this stuff about me, look, I do X, I'm doing this, I'm comfortable with myself. If you got a problem with that, that's on
Yeah.
you. But don't assume who I am if you don't know who I am.
I feel like there's a good chance, too, that the parents have a change of heart if the
Mhm.
relationship goes well.
Yeah.
Well, after Sally went home, she told me she had a long talk with her parents. Surprisingly, her parents didn't deny it, but they thought they were justified in what they did, which annoyed Sally. She told her parents to apologize to me in person, and after a bit of back and forth, they agreed and started realizing that what they did was unfair to me. So next week, I'll be seeing them, and hopefully it goes better than last time. I also showed Sally the original post when she came back to my place the next day, and she was reading all the comments and realized that her parents have really coddled her all her life, which is another issue she'll have to talk to them about soon. But anyways, that's the update. Me and Sally are doing great, and hopefully I can form a healthy relationship with her parents in the future, and that is the end of that story.
My fiance left me at a football match that I didn't even want to attend.
Time to become a football fan.
I don't watch or pay attention to sports at all. Not my thing. My fiance loves sports, especially football. I understand everyone has different hobbies and interests. Football is basically a religion here. By the way, this comes from Vent Throwaway for this. And if you want to submit your own stories, where do you got to go, Carly?
The OK Storytime subreddit.
I am Riley,
I'm Carly.
Did you forget your name? I'm Keon.
and we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have the answers. I don't even know my name. And if you got anything you do differently in the comments, let us know. We read them. As OP says, he is always asking me to go to a game with him. I'm not interested in football at all, but since it was important to him, I said, yeah, why not? We went to a game with his brother. My fiance was excited because it was the first game of the season. We had 3 tickets, but when we got to the game, only 2 of the seats were together and 1 was somewhere else. I don't know how that happened. I thought the tickets were always for seats together. My fiance said he didn't know what happened. I ended up being the one to sit alone. I wanted to sit with my fiance, but he said the other seats were better, and since I didn't like football, it shouldn't matter where I sit. I hated it. I had strangers all around me, and a lot of them seemed like they were wasted. And no matter how many times I asked my fiance to have his brother switch seats with me, he said no. I ended up spending most of the game by one of the places that sell snacks and drinks instead of at my seat because a couple of the strangers were rude and I was getting nervous sitting alone. There was one security guard, but all he said was that it's normal for people at games to be loud and excited. I did not have a good time, and on top of it, my fiance and his brother basically gave me the silent treatment on the way home from Chicago because their team didn't win. My fiance says I'm overreacting and that football games are safe for women, so I'm blowing things out of proportion. He doesn't see a problem with me having to sit alone, and we've argued about it. I don't care if anyone reads this or not. I'm venting because most people think my fiance is right and say it's not a problem to sit alone at a game. I felt disrespected, and him telling me I'm overreacting is impacting our relationship. I'm fully prepared for people here to agree with him, but I had to vent somewhere. It's been almost 2 months, but I can't get over it. I don't even care if anyone reads this. Almost everyone I know says I'm overreacting. I know a couple of people who say my feelings are justified, but anyone who likes football seems to think I'm wrong and my fiance is right. Am I overreacting? We have one comment here. Is he always this self-centered and selfish? You don't show up to a game and just found out one ticket is somewhere else? We always know our sporting concert event sitting in advance. You know when we purchase them? I'm guessing someone, hint hint, knew the seating arrangements ahead of time and did not tell you.
Yeah, it felt very on purpose.
At least during this excursion, someone, hint hint, cared a lot more about their own happiness versus spending time with his fiance, teaching her a little about the awesome game, sharing the excitement and experience, making positive memories, and ensuring her safety. If this is regular behavior for him, I hope you haven't dated for many years because I would not want to look back at my life with regret for not pulling the plug and leaving the knucklehead sooner. If this is not regular behavior, then it's time for a sit-down conversation about why this wasn't okay. Adult, logical, respectful conversations are relationship-enhancing tools that we all need. Good luck, and God bless you, OP. Update 11 days later. Are they still together?
I think they are. I think this is just going to be their conversation. But breakup imminent, I hope.
If he does not understand where you're coming from and he just
Mhm.
keeps devaluating, sorry, I couldn't speak there. If he keeps disrespecting you and your boundaries or how you feel, I would call it.
Yeah. It's the little things. It's how they treat you at a football game. Update 11 days later. My sister gave me a wake-up call. She asked me what I would say to our youngest sister if she were in my situation. Without even having to think about it, my answer was that she should leave that guy because he obviously doesn't respect you. It woke me up to how stupid I have been for staying and for not standing up for myself. If I would tell her to leave because she deserves better, why wouldn't I do the same? It opened my eyes about how I accepted my ex-fiance disrespecting me and not listening when I'm upset. And if you're upset, you can go to your favorite podcast platform. Search up OK Storytime on what platforms, Carly?
iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Music.
And I'm sure it'll put a smile on your face.
I'm sure.
Some of the episodes.
Almost 90 days.
Wow.
Yeah.
Whoa. We're getting to the triple digits here. Here's a little bit more. I broke up with him and have moved in with my sister. I knew they were going to. Wow. I kind of called that. You didn't see that coming.
Sorry, what? What do you go back a sentence?
I broke up with him and have moved in with my sister. They're done. They cut it off.
I saw it coming eventually, just not that quick.
Oh, okay.
And I think that the sister with the wake up call was good.
Yeah.
I thought she talked to her fiance, not her sister.
Got it.
And I think talking to the sister,
yeah.
liked
It was, if you love the game so much, why don't you just marry it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. The one who woke me up, not my youngest sister. She gave me 2 months worth of rent, so my ex-fiance couldn't say I was abandoning the lease on our apartment. He can sign a new lease in January or move out, but at least he can't use that against me. I don't know what I would do without my sister. She's going to help me pay for a therapist so I can talk about my issues with accepting my ex-fiance treating me so badly. I'm also stepping away from dating until I figured it out.
good.
If you almost
Good.
got married to someone, do not get into dating
Yeah,
until a year and
You
a half.
gotta take a break.
Year and a half minimum.
Isn't it like
I do.
also dependent on how long the relationship was?
I do a month for every year. Me personally, I do 2 months for every year.
That's fair.
And then if it's like 2 months for every year until a year and a half, and then like year and a half is like, if I've been together with someone for like 15 years, I'm not gonna wait for 30 months to date someone. It'd be like
You might need 30 months.
you might, but
Yeah,
don't be
I get
jumping
your
in other
point.
people's pants.
Take time.
I appreciate all the support I got on my last post, and also everyone who told me I deserve better. I had my messages turned off because I got some nasty ones sent by people who are fans of the same football team as my ex-fiance. But I do appreciate everyone who told me that I wasn't overreacting and said I deserve better. Even though I don't know any of you, it really helped. I trusted my boyfriend with my savings, and he spent it behind my back.
Better be for like a boat or something.
Yeah, you better have bought you a boat. My boyfriend, 19, and I, 18, do not have any shared bank accounts, and I do not have a savings account yet. So when I got my last paycheck before we moved in with his family, I asked if he could store about 250 pounds of it in his savings account until Christmas, just in case I don't get a job by then. That way, I'll have spending money for people's presents. By the way, this comes from user FitTumbleweed4549. Ooh, that tumbleweed lifts. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. I'm Dakota.
And I'm Savannah.
And we are here to give you good advice goofily. We don't know everything. Freaking what? We only know what we do. So let us know what you would do in the comments. And OP says, at the time, he had about 700 pounds in debt on multiple different credit cards, but was about to start a well-paying job where he would get paid weekly and pay off his debts in no time. This was all about 4 weeks ago. The other day, I had the idea that I wanted to invest some money into reselling only 100 pounds of the 250 I had in his savings account. So if it all went wrong, I had not spent everything I had. I kept asking him to send me the money so I could do it, but he kept putting it off, saying, we'd do it later, or saying that I should leave it to him to look for the best items to resell, since he knows more about it, but failing to do it every single time. I got impatient and fed up with waiting, and since Christmas is around the corner, I said I want him to send me my money now, as it is getting too close to Christmas, and I need to start buying gifts. He kept saying things like, just use my credit card and I'll transfer it later, or I'll do it later, until it was painfully obvious, and I said to him that if he had spent my money, he just needed to tell me. I said something along those lines, and that I was not going to be mad. The thing is, his older brother, who he has quite a close relationship with, is struggling in a relationship with a woman who is very controlling and manipulative when it comes to money, and it has led us to have conversations about how we might run into these problems in the future and how we would handle them. We both said that the money we work for is our own, unless we mutually decide otherwise, no doubt about it. It also put a bit of pressure on me, as I felt like if I have a problem with it, I'll be compared to his brother's partner. He admitted that he had spent 150 pounds of my own money to pay off debts. He did not once ask me at all. He just did it. He took it upon himself to spend my money that I worked for and trusted him with. Spent it even though he would be able to do that with his own money within the next 2 weeks, and just waited until the very last minute for me to find out by myself. I told him it was okay, but just to ask me next time. I'm absolutely fine with helping him out, but not when he doesn't tell me about it. For context, I am a girl from a very poor family who has never had more than 500 euros to my name. Not euros, pounds, 500 pounds. 500 pounds to my name. He has a successful family and is a successful guy himself with a steady job and lots of support. I need the money way more than he ever has. I would understand more if he was jobless, and would be for the foreseeable future, but he was literally just about to start working and would have been able to pay off debts in no time. He had not even started to be reminded by any of the banks about his debts. Since it happened, I have felt quite hurt and betrayed. I've already told him that I understand and everything, but I feel like my reaction made it seem like he can do it again in the future and get away with it, and it has definitely knocked my trust a bunch. He keeps telling me to just buy things on his credit card and still will not send me the money I have left in the savings account. But I do not want to buy things on his credit card. I want my own money in my bank account. I guess what I'm asking is how I can bring this up in a conversation without sounding controlling. I feel like every move I make will be compared to his brother's partner, and I would hate that because she is a horrible person. But he cannot just get away with it. I have no idea what to do. I want to regain trust again and be able to speak about money openly. Any advice, please? And we have some comments here, but do you have any immediate advice for our OP here, Savannah?
I mean, I feel like just have the conversation. You know, there's no other way about it. Like, you can't control how he's going to react and how he feels. And if he compares it, you know, then that's on him. Like, it's not so much like, you know, what you do. You can say something anyway and people will be like, oh, you know, like, that reminds me of this person or whatever. Like, but you can't really control that.
And if he's going to try to tell you that you're controlling, you go like, I'm not controlling. You stole my money from me, and I
Yeah.
trusted you to look after it.
That's the other thing is, like, it wasn't your money to begin with. And so if you bring it up saying, like, hey, I have a problem with you, like, taking my money and using it without any conversation about that. So I think that you are in the right to, you know, you have the right to say something because it's your money.
Absolutely.
That's what I'm going to say.
And I stand behind that. And there are some more comments. Comment number 1. First of all, never start off with, you can tell me, I won't be mad, if you know he did it. You have to straight up tell him, if you did this, you need to tell me, because if I find out you're lying to me, that's going to be an even bigger issue. Still, it's not going to sound controlling, and you can't control how other people perceive you. If this turns into comparing you to his brother's girl, then it is what it is. You can't let him walk all over you like that.
Facts.
Comment number 2, open your own account. That's also, I totally forgot that I was going to say that. You're 18. You can just open your own bank account.
That's true. I didn't even think of that.
You did not have to give him that money for him to put in his account. You could just open your own bank account.
Yeah, because she also said that she didn't want to share it. Like, that was the whole thing. It's
Yeah.
like, I don't want to share it. I don't want to do this, you know, then I don't have control. Like, you do have control of your money, but then also you don't because it's in his account, you know?
And a lot of times when you're that age, like, you know, I know that sometimes there's, like, fees associated with, like, opening accounts and stuff, but, like, I think they can, like, waive stuff or, like, reduce stuff for, like, people who are, like, 18 or, like, starting school or, like, it really depends. I don't know.
Or just put all the money under your mattress.
Comment 2, open your own account. Until you are married, combined finances are not a thing. If he has credit card debt, I wouldn't let him manage your money. He didn't pay off debt. He still owes you instead of a bank. If you gift him, he doesn't have to pay you back. Then it's paid off. Frankly, he stole from you. He is lying about it, and it's not cool. You seem way chiller than I would be. Comment 3 says, please don't be so desperate that you stay with someone who stole from you. Why haven't you opened your own account yet? You are being naive if you think that someone who's already this deep in debt and stole from you isn't going to do more bad things. But by the way, something that does make sense is that you can listen to more full episodes of stories just like this one on your favorite podcast platform. iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you're listening to stories. Just search OK Storytime. And you've got almost 3 months worth of stories to listen to. I'm talking 3 months back to back to back. Day over day. Hour over hour. Anyway, we got a little bit more story here. Any thoughts to finish us off, Savannah?
I mean, I feel like it's just like, you know, it's one thing that he is like not handling his own money, right? But now he's not handling your money correctly. So that's like a big no-no, because that could be not only stressful for like you, but also stressful on the relationship. And then also on him, like there's like no good thing that he's doing here. And it kind of stresses me out, because not that like money for me isn't like, you know, that big of an issue. I never think of it, you know, even if I have nothing, I'm like, whatever, I'll get some, you know. But like, I don't know. I wouldn't trust someone who's already in debt with my money, because that just seems like they're going to take advantage of it, you know?
I agree. I think you're kind of in a position right now, OP, where maybe the slope is a little slippery. I know you say you're moving in with him and his family, so maybe you don't have the ability to leave him and uproot yourself right now. But I would certainly be like, all right, that is the first and only warning for thievery. And I'd be keeping my eyes open. And as soon as he is a thief from me again, it's over. I'm making an exit plan. I'm developing a strategy to free myself from his influence,
Deception.
from his lies and deceits. Okay, there's another edit here to finish it off. Thank you all so much for all the kind words and advice. I've read all your comments, and I've decided that once I get my money back, which will be before the end of this month, I will sit down and talk to him about it. I'm still hurt and upset by it, but this is the first untrustworthy thing he has ever done, and our relationship in every other aspect is everything I could have asked for. Sorry to disappoint everyone who asked me to leave. With that being said, if we have this conversation and he does not take it upon himself to apologize and do what is right, which is send me everything he owes me, I've already made up my mind that I will be moving back home, getting my old job back, and moving on. Good. Trust is a huge deal for me, but also so are second chances. Thanks, guys. Smiley face, little bitty heart. And that is the end of that story.
My girlfriend is part of a Mean Girls group, and now I'm reconsidering everything.
Yeah, you should have really reconsidered trying to make that a thing, because it's not. Or whatever they say in that movie.
I, 27 male, met this girl, I'll call Katie, 23 female, at a school event about a year ago, and we really clicked and soon made things official. I understand that I saw things partly through rose-colored glasses, but I really, really liked this girl to the point that I started thinking she might be the one. We just matched well on every level, have similar hobbies, but importantly, I thought she was a really good and kind person. By the way, this comes from Throw R.A. Faincetra. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to r/OKStorytime subreddit. I am Savannah.
I'm Dakota.
And we're here to give advice goofily, but we do not have all the answers. We're just going to comment on what we would do in this situation, and we would love to hear what you would do in this situation in the comments. As OP says, now something happened that really made me reevaluate things. We were sitting in bed, and she was texting and laughing about something. I glanced at the phone and saw the Tinder profile of a guy, which made me think, WTF? When she went to take a shower, I am not super proud of this. I admit I snooped given what I thought I saw and checked her phone. When her phone opened up, it turns out that she wasn't on Tinder, but rather on a group chat with some friends, and the Tinder pic was a screenshot. Of course, that was a relief, but the rest of the context was just as bad in some ways. The group chat was basically a one-topic channel where the theme was roasting the guys they hooked up with or were dating. And it was very explicit, talking about specific guys together with their pics and joking about their inadequacy in bed or even how ill-endowed they were. As far as I scrolled, I wasn't featured on there. Woo! But I saw Katie herself write really mean comments. Example about a guy her friend was with who got emotional during spicy sleep, basically calling him a pathetic loser. I was just shocked to read those comments because it seemed so out of character for her. When she got back in the room, I fessed up to the snooping and confronted her. Surprisingly, she wasn't really mad, but she also wasn't remorseful in the least. She said the chat was with her closest friends and they always talked about everything. I told her I thought it was really effed up to talk this way about other people, especially since it wasn't just randos. I recognized a few mutual friends discussed on there in an explicit way, and I am sure they didn't consent to that information being discussed. But again, she got really defensive, said those were her closest friends and what they talk about is their business. True, I agree. I asked her if she talked about us as well, and she refused to answer. The conversation kind of tapered off at that point, since we both realized we were too emotional and not getting anywhere. But I still feel very uncomfortable with the situation. I am afraid to be overreacting, but I am very seriously thinking about ending the relationship. I can't believe I am dating someone who thinks it's okay to treat other people this way and join in the public humiliation of people who did nothing wrong. But I would like some outside perspective from others if they've been in any kind of similar situation and or if they think I am blowing this out of proportion. Comment number 1. Honestly, if this is something that ruins the attraction to her, leave her. You know what she's like when you're not around for the convos now. OP says, yeah, it really does. It really changed how I see her. To be honest, it's just kind of a mind F. Because I can't really reconcile what I thought I knew about her and this behavior. It's not just her either. I also know some of her friends on that group chat, and I also thought before that they seemed like nice, normal girls. The weird part is that she made it look like this kind of talk was so normal, like she was surprised that I was so put off by it. Now I wonder if it may be more common for people to vent like this in private with friends. But I still find it hard to accept. Like, if a guy friend told our friend group about a girl he hooked up with and started making fun of her private parts, I would be super creeped out and think the guy is an a-hole for violating the girl's privacy like that. Comment number 2. She refused to answer. That means yes. I would press her on that, but that's me. I don't get why she doesn't just lie. A crappy person would just say no, right? Another reply, she may not want to trap herself in a lie. He told her he snooped. She doesn't know if he snooped far enough to perhaps find her comments about him, so she maintains plausible deniability. He either knows and she can then admit when he shows his hand, or he doesn't and she can avoid admitting it.
Okay, well, I think that's still going a little too. I think maybe she's just surprised. She came out of the shower and was like, "What? You snooped through my phone and you looked through at my group chat and you're what? Yeah, did I talk about you? You're really upset. I don't know. I don't know. Just what?
Sometimes I send the group chat to people who I'm talking to. I'd be like, oh my God, this is so funny. Look.
Check this out."
Or like, they'll send a guy and I'll be
Yeah.
like, please look at this guy.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
Hey, it just happens, all right?
It does. And that doesn't make you a bad person. It just like makes you like, you know, you can laugh about it, you can enjoy it, but not like like you can laugh about it like in private, obviously. You know, like if I'm going and like making fun of this person
Yeah.
and like putting it out there and being like, this person's ugly, stupid, and you know, blah blah. Like
yeah.
that's taking it to
Mean
like a bad
Girls would
level.
be like taking all the stuff in the group chat, finding where these people work and hang out, and then like
Yeah.
posting it up on the walls.
Yeah.
And being like, this person's this pathetic loser.
Yeah. It's like I would never say that to
Yeah.
that person's face because I would be
Because
respectful
you're not
and
an
whatnot.
a-hole.
But I can have those thoughts in my mind and I
Yeah.
can say them to like my closest friends and we can like laugh about them and stuff. But that doesn't make you a bad person. It just means that you can like, you know, you trust these people, but you don't need to make that person feel bad about what you feel,
Yeah.
you know?
We got another update.
Update number 2, 19 days later. This all actually happened a few days after my original post, but things have been pretty hectic since then. But I wanted to write a quick update since I got some useful advice in the first thread. The best advice was to insist on seeing the chat one last time to see if she had written anything about me. She initially said no because it also has private information about her friends, etc., etc. But I basically said if she doesn't let me see the text, it's over, and she reluctantly agreed, but told me to keep in mind that this was a year ago and how much we grew as a couple since then, blah, blah, blah. I scrolled to the period when we started dating, and yeah, sure enough, there I was in the text. It actually made me feel really weird reading other people talking about me. Yeah, exactly! Because why? You don't need to know that. Like, if she wants to tell you, she can tell you. You don't need to know every single thing she thinks about you, you know, before you even date. Like, what's the fun in that? And then, like, you know, now you know them, and now, you know, it's weird to think that this is how she felt before, blah, 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 all this stuff. Like, but that's how, you know, it's
I
different
just
for
think
everyone.
your damage is already done, brother. I think you gotta find yourself a nice little, I don't know, nice little Southern belle. And someone who says, oh, good heavens.
I know, like, not everyone's like a saint. I don't understand.
Someone who says, I do declare.
Right around the time we first slept together, someone asked her if I was better than some guy, apparently a former benefit of hers. Without missing a beat, she fires back no, that it was kind of disappointing because I was nervous and had some performance anxiety, and then actually went into detail about what we did. She knew I was feeling anxious since I hadn't been with anyone in a while after a bad breakup, and she was supporting in person. So it felt extra crappy that behind my back she was complaining about me. A friend of hers even mocked me, and she said nothing. By the way, we'll never mock you and say nothing.
We got stuff to say. We say a lot.
We say a lot. You can listen to full episodes with stories just like this if you go to Spotify, Apple Podcast, or your favorite podcast app, including iHeartRadio, and search OK Storytime. There's another relevant update. Do we have anything to say?
Let's just finish it off. I think we've
Yeah.
put everything out there. I think this guy just kind of wants to hurt his feelings a little bit. He needs someone who says, I do declare. And, you know, he's like, I can't believe she said this behind my back instead of insulting me to my face in a moment of vulnerability. I can't
for
believe
real.
she wouldn't be mean to me in real life instead of just saying it to her friends in the privacy of their own group chat.
See, that's crazy.
Before
to
we
me.
were basically like, we just started seeing each other.
And she didn't call me fat.
Hey, come on.
Like that's crazy to me. All right. Katie saw the look on my face and tried to tell me again that we grew so much and things became really good when we got comfortable with each other and connected. Yes.
Big facts.
She even showed me a text where she said that to her friends, but honestly, at that point, I was already done. I asked her to move out, and after a bit of drama and nasty words, she moved her stuff to my mother's place.
Her mother's place.
Oh, to her? Okay. I was like, wait.
Yeah. Whoa.
Moved her stuff to her mother's place. As others said, I have no doubt that they are talking crap about me together, but honestly, I could not care less what those pieces of crap are chattering about. I just never want to see any of them ever again. And that's the end of that story.